Hello, I'm Rachel from Echidna Sewing, and today I'm going to show you how to make freestanding lace and dimensional flowers. Freestanding lace, in case you don't know, is exactly as it sounds. It's a design that's specially been digitized so it can stitch out on a water-soluble stabilizer. You can wash it out and you've got this beautiful piece of lace left over. Let me show you some. So freestanding lace can be used to make angels. So here is a Christmas angel using organza. So Christmas decorations, more Christmas ornaments here. This one's embellished with some rhinestones. You can also use it as a lace insert for a t-shirt. So if you have a v-neck t-shirt that's cut too low, that can be used in that manner. It's a dimensional ornament. It can be used for dimensional projects, and this is a butterfly just for prettiness. It can be used as table mats. Here's another one. So there's all sorts of uses for dimensional lace. When deciding to stitch freestanding lace, you do need to choose a design that is specifically digitized for that purpose. I am using the Lindy Goodall Stars and Snowflake pack today, and I'm using Kimberbell's Lace Studio and the Kimberbell Dimensional Mylar designs. So let me show you some of the other things that we need to be able to stitch freestanding lace. One of the important things is your thread. I have wound my bobbin with exactly the same thread as I'm using on top. So that needs to happen because you've got both sides that you're going to view. So I've got my multi-purpose sewing aid. I have my tape for my hoop. I put in a brand new 7511 embroidery needle. I'm using my 4x4 hoop. I have, as an extra, I have some crystal organza, some tulle. I'm going to show you all about these soon. Sorry, this is wash away. This is tulle. And I've already pre-cut my wash away. The last thing you need to have is your bowl for your water, a handy dandy paintbrush, and also paper towels to soak the water, the excess water out of the design once it's completed. So let's start hooping. So I have my 4x4 hoop here, and as part of my hoop preparation, I'm going to use my double-sided tape and place it on the inside hoop all the way round. What this does is it adds additional stick for the wash away to adhere to when I hoop it. So, and this double-sided tape's really easy. Don't even need scissors, just your nail. Put this aside. The double-sided tape tackiness lasts for about 6 or 7 hoopings. After that, you should just remove it. It peels off relatively easily. It's not difficult. And you can see that that is quite tacky. So the next thing I'll do is just open my hoop up a little. I'm going to use 2 layers of wash away. So 1, 2, and push that in. Needs to be taut, and actually that's perfect. I wouldn't change that at all. So I'm going to load it onto the machine. I'll just finger tighten the screw. You don't need to have a screwdriver or anything, just so finger tighten is better. It's pretty good. I have my thread, so I'm stitching this design in the lemon. So I have lemon in the bottom, lemon on top, and I shall load. The design itself is going to take 38 minutes to stitch, and once you've loaded, put the foot down. My design is here. The machine I'm using today doesn't have adjustable presser foot height. You might have a machine that does, in which case you should just check that the foot itself, once the stitching has started, is skimming just above the wash away. If it isn't, you will need to lower it down, because that will give you the better result for your freestanding lace embroidery. Now I'm going to start stitching. So the design's just finished stitching, so I'll take the hoop out. Did take 36 minutes. And while it was stitching, I went and got myself a bowl of warmish water, and I put a squirt of dishwashing liquid in there too. One of the tips that we've got for you is, rather than washing all of the wash away, because you can use the remnants for something else, is to use the paintbrush. Now this is why I suggested the paintbrush. So let me do this. So that is just on the edges of the design, and it will magically melt away if your water's warm enough and if you use enough of it. So I'm using the paintbrush to take it out of the hoop, so then I can actually keep the rest of the wash away in a jar or a plastic bag. So it needs to be sealed to use it for something else, or if I want to stitch it together with wash away thread, and I can use it for another purpose or another sized hoop if I wanted to. So I'll just finish this. Almost done. And then I'm going to give it a good soak in the bowl. You can leave as much wash away or as little wash away in as you like. The more you leave in, the stiffer the freestanding lace is, the more you wash out, the softer it is. So I'm going to drop that in there. You can see that's what's left of the wash away that's in the hoop. So I'll just undo this, take it out, pop this aside, because the next thing I'm going to show you is making a dimensional flower with tulle and mylar. So the last thing you need for this design is your paper towels. So I'll get this. You pull the design out of the water, and I just press between the paper towels like this. I try and get as much of the water out as possible, and most of the wash away is gone as well. And then I'm going to just pop it on a paper towel and put it aside to dry, but I keep it flat. That's your freestanding lace star completed. Now we're going to move on to creating the dimensional mylar flower. The next design we're stitching is the dimensional mylar flower. We've changed machines, so this time we're stitching in a 5x7 hoop, so it is bigger, and with these designs the flowers are grouped together. This is a stitch out I made earlier, and you can see that I've used the yellow colour again with my mylar. Mylar is actually an incredible product, because what it does is it absorbs the colours of the thread. So these little samples I've got here for you, this is stitched using pink thread, purple, yellow, and this is using, we call it opal film. This is using this product. See, it's quite pink, but once it's stitched with your chosen thread, it does change colour, and it reflects the colour of the thread, and this is why it's absolutely stunning. So let's get started with this design. I have again pre-cut all the things that I need, and they include wash away for the hoop, so I shall hoop that first, and we will stop and start once to create this design. So I've just hooped my wash away. It already has tape around the inside of the inner ring. I'm going to load the hoop in, and then shortly I shall stitch out the designs. But just so that you know, the other things that we'll use is a layer of tulle. I think you probably see this against my t-shirt better. So goes a layer of tulle, a layer of mylar, another layer of tulle, and then a layer of wash away. And that's going to create the three-dimensional effect for these flowers. So hoops in, designs in. I'm going to put the foot down, and the machine will stitch the placement lines for me to place my tulle and mylar. Okay, so the placement for the 3 flowers has been completed, and there's 1, 2, 3, and so that's stitched on the wash away. The next step is to layer a layer of tulle, mylar, another piece of tulle. So we're actually sandwiching the mylar between the 2 layers of tulle. And then I'm going to put another layer of wash away just so that it holds everything in place. I'm using this Kimberbell tape here to tape it down, and you'll see that I'm actually taping it past the hoop, and that's okay. You can do that because once it's actually the stitching is begun, it will hold. So it's just at these initial early stages, I like to use that tape, and I tape it onto this wash away. So once this is done, so just 4 pieces, I'm going to pop it back into the machine, and we shall begin stitching. Okay, so the stitch out's completed. So let me get the hoop out of the machine. The next step for me is to remove my tape. I do recycle the tape, so I'll just put that to the side. So take that all off, pop that over here. And then I will remove it from the hoop, and what I do is I trim with my sharp scissors around the outside as close as I can to the mylar. Notice I didn't use this one, so I'll just do this. I'm just going to show you on one, so I'll just release it from the whole layer of the 3 stitched together, and then I'll show you how I cut it out. Can you hear the crinkliness of the mylar? It's actually quite loud. Okay, so I'll put those aside. So we're going to look at creating those. You can use these in layers, so you could add this one as well. So then, just with my sharp scissors, I'm going to go right in here as close as I can without trimming or cutting the stitches. And then once I've actually got all as close as I can, I'm going to dunk it into my bowl of water again, my warm washing solution, to get the the wash away off the top and the bottom to reveal the design. I really love these scissors. They are very, very sharp at the tip, which is what you need for trimming like this. And they have a slight curve, which are perfect for flowers. So just round and around into the petals. You can actually get mylar in different shades. We have the one colour, the opal film, but you can get gold and silver, pinks, and the Kimberbell tubes if you wanted to try a variety of different colours for flowers. Oh, okay, I think I'm pretty happy with that. Let me get my bowl and my brush. So again, this time I'm just going to immerse it in. Use the paintbrush to stop your fingers from getting a bit goopy. And the water's actually cooled down quite substantially. And there is a bit of mylar left on the edge. I'm not sure if you can see that under that film. But what I'm going to do is just give that one last rinse. It smells really good. It's nice dishwashing liquid. Pop it into a paper towel, which I have here, and then I'll let it dry. Once it's dried again, it actually dries quite firmly. So I'm going to do this and this. I'll show you on this one. It's quite stiff. Once it's dry, I'm going to trim that mylar back right to the edge. So that is your dimensional mylar flowers completed. Repeat that same process for the other two flowers that I haven't done, but you can do that. And that's using a 5x7 hoop. Next up, we're going to stitch our dimensional flower with organza, and we're going to go back to our 4x4 hoop so you can see how easy these are to create. Okay, the last thing that we're stitching today is the dimensional flower made out of organza. So we have, this is a Lindy Goodall dimensional flower design. And I've already gone ahead and pre-stitched these two. These flowers look like this when they're done. So here's some that I've prepared earlier. I think they're just exquisite. Little 3D, I've sewn a button in here, but a little 3D flower. And this is the rose. So you can see I'm actually creating these for a project. It's going to be a wreath, but I have to place the button or the inside of my flower once this is to be sewn on the project. So that's why it's still naked in the middle, but that's that rose. And I have another, I think it's an aster. So this one is placed ready for me to show you how to stitch together. But before we do that, one of the things that I love about this design is that it's stitched without any stabilizer. So like before, this is the hoop that has the sticky tape on the inner hoop. Now, to help with the adhesion of the organza, because we're not using a stabilizer, I need to add tape underneath the inner hoop. So I just have these 4 pieces, so one, top and bottom, and then the sides. And what that will do is it will provide that extra grip onto the organza as we're not using the stabilizer. You can use a stabilizer if you want to, if you're not satisfied, or if you think, if you don't want to try this, by all means use a wash away, but you don't have to for these designs, and I've successfully stitched these all out without the wash away. I have used a good quality organza, and you can see that it's quite well woven, and it's strong. This organza here, which is probably not as good a quality, is more coarse and it's quite an open weave. I think you very likely would need to use a wash away stabilizer with this type of organza. So the type of organza fabric does matter. So my hoop's ready to go. I shall 2 layers of organza. Just place that there on the mat, and then essentially what I'm going to do is just, I can feel the organza stick to it. Just turn it around. Just take my glasses off so I can see the arrows. Got to get my arrows connecting, which is here and here. Okay, so I'm just going to put my right hand here, create a bit of tautness with this top layer of organza and just gently ease it into the hoop. It just creates a better hooping, method of hooping with just the 2 layers. And I'm pretty happy with that. I'm ready to stitch out one of the flowers. So I'll put this into the machine. Again, I have pink in the top and the same matching thread in the bottom. And I will place this on. This is a much faster stitch out. It's only 6 minutes. So the design's finished stitching, it's completed its satin stitch. I'll just get the foot up here. You can see it's stitched beautifully. There's 5 layers in this rose design. I've so far stitched 3. So what you'd do is you would unhoop it and then you'd stitch the next design. Place your organza in and stitch away. Hoop up and off you go again. But we're not doing that because we don't have time on the video, so I just wanted to show you how easy it is. There's about 5 layers to this rose. I think we've got 3 there, so I'll do another 2. It's about the same on this flower as well. I've pre-prepared this flower so you can see all these layers. And what we did for this stitch out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a small amount of hand stitching to construct it together. So you would trim these apart. Again, like the mylar, get as close as you can to the organza without actually cutting. You can also use like the soldering iron, or you might have the rhinestone applicator if you do scan and cut, in which case you can just heat it up and then pop this through and burn it, but I'm not doing that today because I've already done it with my scissors. So let's go to this. The small amount of hand sewing that's required is to get the layers together. So you can see on here, this one, I'm not going to do it just yet, but I'll just pull the needle out. I have the needle with the same matching thread, and what this does is you're just going to pull it together and tack it down in the center so you have this effect. So it's the center of the petal, and then these ones get layered up. So 1, 2, 3, and I've just taken my layers and positioned them. That circle here is quite handy. So 1, see they're naturally curling up. 2, actually I put the bigger one down the bottom, and it's just a matter of playing with your placement. There's no hard and fast rule, but I kind of like that one as well, so not putting them all on the same angle. Like this, like that. I'm going to put a pin there. It's going to show me if they're all about in the center, which they are. It's not too bad. So I'm going to pin that. Oh, I've got one more. Take this one off, pop that there, pin away. So I've got this lovely looking flower. And so this is the center of the flower, and we just need to stitch about 4 stitches here to pull it together like this. That's all we're doing. So I'll just take my glasses off for this. So here I've got a matching thread, it's pink. I've tied a knot, but the beginning of the center is here, but I've started about 4 stitches up. And I'm going to go here. I'll just do this and get the orange tool. So here, I'm going to pull it together, and it will pull together like that. You can see the flower is naturally curling up, a bit hard probably on film, but essentially all we're doing is just tacking this together so it does curl up. I do have a long string of thread so that I can just carry on once it's pulled together. Probably not that easy for you to see, but this is stitch number 3 and I'm nearly at the center curve. Just pull, 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 oops. And when it's sitting quite nicely, and I think that is, then I grab this, put this in the middle, pull that tight, place, and I'm going to put my needle through all these layers and making sure that it's in the center and pull it down. Don't know if that's that easy to see, but you can see it's naturally curling up. Take my pin out, my needle's down the bottom, again, poke it up, just hand stitch the center in place. Does get caught on some of these petals, but just undo it. And keep stitching until you feel all the layers are secure. So I'm just going up and down in the spot. The organza without using wash away makes it curl really nicely, so it's quite soft. So you kind of can feel when it's secure enough just to come up, and I'll probably just do 2 more passes, let's say. 1, 2. I'm getting in all sorts of trouble here with my thread. Okay, so I've just finished off, I've just tied off the last of my stitching for this flower, and you can see she's going to pop up really nicely. I'm going to place a button or something in the center, maybe one of these, I'm not sure. This will be part of a background wreath that I'm making, so once I place that on my background, then I'll put that center on. But those are my flowers. Okay, so we've made quite a few flowers today. I would love to see what you've made, so tag us on Instagram. If you're interested in any of these products, they are on our website, so check them out. Today I used 2 machines, the M370 and the F540E. They're also available if you want to check them out on our website. Have fun stitching, and I'll see you soon.